Hello everyone, my name is Zach Waddington. I'm 24 years old, and in January, the 27th or the 28th, I can't remember, 2021, I had top surgery. And that was 5 years ago, bro. How cool is that? I'm just, like, there's a video on my page that is me before top surgery, and I'm so, like my life's gonna change, and it did, and it was really, really cool. But this is 5 years after. Like, oh my god, I want to name this video like, do I regret having top surgery? Just so it brings in a bit of spice, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that. But no is the answer. I don't regret it. It's one of the most important and brilliant decisions of my life, and it's 5 years now. It's 5 years after that. So I thought I'd make a video because I know that a lot of people are interested, and I am very lucky, like the fact that I went to Miles Berry, who's like very famous. He did all the other YouTubers as well, I feel. So I went to Miles Berry in London during COVID, and it was a bit scary, to be fair, like going into hospitals because I couldn't have my family with me, and it was the biggest surgery I've ever had and probably will ever have, hopefully. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna like die or something later on down the line. But I wanted to commemorate it in a video and share my opinions and share my journey with you. So welcome. 5 years on. Okay, so I got it done in January. I can't actually remember if it was the 27th or the 28th, but it was either of those dates. I remember because I celebrated the first year anniversary, but I didn't really celebrate any of the others. And now it's 5 years, but it was in January during COVID. And that was a big time, you know, because obviously, like I said before, like people couldn't visit me. Driving up to London while having to quarantine, also having to quarantine from my family. So before I had it done, I actually had a different date. And I'm sure I said that in the previous video, feel free to watch it. Maybe it's a bit cringeworthy now, but it's still really cool, and I want to keep it up there. But they had to postpone, and I'm sure they postponed like 2 or 3 times. And this was my final date, the January one, and it was really, really cool. And I'm just really, really proud of myself for going through that, because I was quite young. Like, knew what I was doing and wanted to do it, and have not regretted it till this day, but I was like young for surgery, like it is a big deal. So it was cool. The price, I wanted to talk about the money because it is expensive, and I can't imagine, you know, with like inflation, how fast it's going up, how much it might be today. But I'm sure that I spent 8 grand on it, which is a lot of money. But again, worth it. I had the hospital, like, it didn't even feel like a hospital. I've never been in a private hospital to stay before. So having like, oh my god, it was just bougie in like a cute way, I guess. Miles Berry is super nice. He's a bit like, well, he's studious, so he's a bit serious sometimes, and he uses the proper terminology and stuff, but like, of course he does. But he's also just like chill, and like, I just remember him being like nice and being able to speak to him, as well as loads of the different nurses just being nice and chill and caring about your welfare, because they knew that, I mean, they should care about your welfare anyway, but obviously, like, they knew that you're not there because you're ill. So a lot of them were quite celebratory, or just like happy, I guess. I don't know. I've never been in a hospital, like stayed in a hospital overnight for anything serious like that. So, like, yeah, I've never had to have a bad injury. So it was fun, I guess. So again, talking back, I know this is gonna be a bit rambly, sorry, but I went all the way to London in a car and then had to drive all the way back. That was a painful journey because it hurt, obviously, because I had surgery. But 2 things that I want you to be aware of if you were going to have top surgery. 1, try not to do it in January because it was so cold, and I felt like a lot of the times I couldn't have like jumpers on because the weight, even though it's not heavy, the weight hurt me a little bit. You know, just after, like weeks before, 2 or 3 weeks after. Whoa. So try and have it when it's normal weather, like summer or autumn, if you have the opportunity to, because there was one time when I got so warm that I couldn't. I had to open the window, and then it got really cold in the night, and I couldn't close it because of where I was positioned and because of the pain. And I've already got back pain, and I've had that for like since I was 12. So I was I was in pain, and I had to shout my parents awake to close the window for me. Just like little stuff like that. It was hard. It was actually right here. This is where my bed used to be. I'm now like usually I sleep in that room, but I don't know. I think I just fancied a change, and this is exactly where I was. Like, how cool. Like this is where my bed was facing and everything. How interesting. So that. Oh, number 2 is I wasn't in pain beforehand, like I told you. So my body, I don't know if this was, they said it was normal. They didn't fucking warn me about it, but they said it was normal. That I started screaming. And not to like go too deep, but like I started screaming and like being like, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. And I could not stop screaming. That was scary. That was some like, I thought I was going like insane in the membrane, you know? So the fact that that happened, I didn't understand what was happening. I was just screaming, like not screaming, like yelling for help, even though everyone was around me, and it was just really painful. And that happened a few times, and they said, I know that it happened because I wasn't in pain. So I wasn't in pain. My brain, like, you know, if you like break your leg, your brain knows that your leg is broken, and it sends information, I don't know what, it sends information down to your broken leg to help you fix it, but also just to help you to know what's going on. But because nothing was bad, I wasn't ill, I didn't even have like a cold or anything, I was absolutely 100% fine, and then went through a traumatic body change, like it was, you know, a big surgery. My body reacted, and this is normal. Of course it's normal. Now that I've explained it, I hope that it feels normal to you when I've explained it. But like, it was, yeah, I just started yelling because I was in pain, but I didn't understand why. Because my Zach brain, oh my God, what am I saying? My Zach brain was like, yeah, you've just had top surgery. My neurons and my body part brain was like, no bro, you're in a lot of pain right now and you have no idea why, and you've went through a traumatic incident, if that makes sense. But just to warn you, because nobody warned me, and that was scary. But it only happened a few times, but it felt like I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, kind of like dealing with mental, I don't know what happened. I felt like I was in a horror film. That's what I want to say. I felt like I was in a horror film and something went drastically wrong with my psychological brain. It wasn't, I was fine. I was just in pain because I went through surgery. That makes sense. So yeah, just thought I'd let you know. I also wanted to talk about the happiness, because I didn't talk about that yet. I remember one of my biggest memories of having top surgery was when I had my first shower after top surgery. Not like I hadn't showered for 18 years. But I had to get all undressed, and it was quite painful to get it all off. So you have like a compression vest, which is quite tight just to keep it all sorted. And then obviously like bandages, and then like stitching, but the stitching for them at least, it wasn't the stitching you had to take out. So it just dissolved over time. But it was like, you know, like bruised and yellow and also a bit stinky because of the compression, as is any scarring, you know, when you have a big surgery like that. But I looked in the mirror, and even though it didn't look aesthetically perfect, like it was bruised, it was yellow, it was yeah, smelly because I hadn't had a shower for a few weeks because of, like, out of head, you know what I mean, because you can't get it wet. I just cried. I looked in the mirror and I sobbed. And I think my mum was worried because she was like, bro, like, what's happening? You said you wanted surgery. You obviously wanted surgery. And I just went, I'm so happy. So yeah, there's so much good that comes out of it. It's a lot of tears, but there's a lot of tears for me anyway because I'm a bit of a crier and love it. Like, look after your emotional intelligence, babies. But yes, I cried. And it was beautiful. And I cried when they had to take it off for the last time. And I saw myself as myself, and it was amazing. And I'm always getting teary now because it was just so, like, oh, it was like the dream. And I just felt perfect. And I also felt so fucking proud of myself as well. I'm just like, it's awesome. Yeah. Going back into, like, I guess more, like, that, sorry, wait, hang on. That positivity breaks everything. Like, you feel on top of the world, and you know why, because you've seen yourself as yourself for the first time. So every bit of negativity that I went through, like the being in pain and the being cold part and all the different stuff that does just come with having a medical journey, it's nothing compared to how happy I felt and how my self-esteem and my confidence and my self-image grew in my mind, and I knew that I was, I don't know, just finally myself. Yeah, that was cool. But another thing I wanted to talk about was that I was going through a hard time anyway at that time. So I was fluctuating through weight a lot. They tell you to narrow your weight down, like lower your weight, which I did. And I've always been this kind of shape and size, so I'm happy with it. But I got a little bit bigger, well, quite a lot bit bigger. And the sides of my top surgery, they used to sag in a way that didn't look normal. So just to be aware of that. He said, I'm sure that I asked him, Miles Berry, and he was like, listen, it's absolutely fine. All you have to do is just look after your weight, especially because your body is currently growing with the new scars. Like, it was all healing at the same time. So just be aware of that and look after yourself. But I didn't really, I guess, but it was absolutely fine, like, a year afterwards. So it was like that. It was a bit like, I think they call it like dog-eared, so it was a bit like flimsy at the sides. There was nothing like scary or worrying about it. It just didn't look amazingly perfect, aesthetically pleasing, I guess. But when I lowered my weight and was more consistent with who I am in terms of weight and size and shape, that it was absolutely fine. And I haven't had any dealings, like any bad things with it since. And I also have probably fluctuated in weight over the last few years, since 5 years, you know, like, I can't remember, but I'm sure I have. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about, this is not really my experience anymore, it's just like, here's what you should be aware of, but I'm helping my community, and I hope this is helpful for you. But another thing you need to be aware of is, even like 2 or 3 years down the line, I think even now even, that if it's really, really, really hot, that sometimes I get itchy. It's not painful at all, it's just like, it feels like my scars are, like, not on fire, but like hot, heated, and that is, like, yeah, I think itchy is the best word to use for that expression. So just to be aware of that, it's a normal thing. I feel like anyone who has had surgery before understands that, but just for you to know. But yeah, it was absolutely fine. You just have to make sure you're cool enough, and if it is itching and irritated is a better word. If it's more irritated than you feel comfortable, then just put like ice packs. That's what I've done in the past. That's really helped. So yeah. Yeah, now I can put this away. I've just been using it for my notes that I wanted to share. Now I just get to talk about how awesome I feel. So it's been 5 years, and also one of the questions that you get asked a lot, which I think is kind of an act of transphobia, I guess, but not in a bad way, like, people, everyone, like, mainly straight and cis people, they ask, hey, you've had top surgery, when's bottom surgery? Like, even like within a few months of having top surgery, they're like, oh great, when's the next one? And that made me think about it a lot more than I already did. So again, I think I'm done. I know that I'm done. There's no thinking about it. I know that I don't want to have testosterone, and I know that I don't want to have bottom surgery. But I finished top surgery, and I got better. And I learnt more about myself along the journey. And then I realised something. I'm done. Like, the journey wasn't female to male. The journey was female to mask gender guy. Like, non-binary is the word that I would use, but it is like a masculine vibe. So yeah, that's just something that I thought was really interesting, because I don't think I ever thought about that before having top surgery, because that was the main thing. So I knew I wanted top surgery. When that got done, a door opened into the possibilities of my life next. And that took me on a little journey and felt really awesome. And yeah, it was just really, really cool. And now it's 5 years on. I had a really good first year anniversary, and it was really awesome. I was with my ex-partner at the time, and we had loads of friends around our house, and we just celebrated with gender euphoria, and it was great. I don't know if I'm going to do anything for the next, like, I don't know if I'm going to do like a 5th anniversary thing, because I'm just very, very busy. Maybe I will, I don't know, but it's the fact that I'm celebrating it right now. Like, 5 years on is insane. I've done so much within those 5 years, and I've become entirely me, despite all of the problems or all of the like hurdles, the obstacles that have been in my way. And now I'm just living my life, and it's beautiful, especially because not only do I have amazing friends, but I also have amazing like family friends who are older than me, who are like married, or even just like very like older. And they, most of them, the majority, like 99% of them, understand me as Zach. Not just Zach the trans man, which I feel like I'm not. They just understand me as just this thing that does not fit into a gender. And I always worried about that. I didn't know how to describe my own gender. And I also don't really use labels. I'm queer, as not, like, I'm not gay. I'm not a gay man. I'm not a this, I'm not a that. I'm not pansexual. I'm not asexual. I'm just queer. Yeah. So I don't use labels that much. They don't really work for me. So having an understanding that people get when they try and put a label on you, and then they don't even try, because they know it won't work. They just go, yeah, you're just Zach. And I always thought that was a bit weird until, honestly, a few months ago, when I was like, oh my god, guys, get this, I'm just Zach. And it feels amazing that all my friends and all my family are surrounding me with that message. Like, I came out to my mum a few like months ago, and I was like, Mum, do you know that I'm non-binary? Is this knowledge to only me? And she was like, yeah, obviously. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know this? And I think it's just because I was scared to use those words before, and I would have never have used those words if I didn't have top surgery. Like, that was the first thing that I needed to sort out. And again, like I said before, it's opened so many doors. And I'm just really happy. I don't think it needs a big like, oh my god, wow. I'm just happy, and it's cool, and I'm proud of myself. Yeah. I think I'm done. I've talked for 20 minutes about it. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again. Bye.